afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Varga, and I'm a People's Party candidate for Vancouver Centre District. As a licensed realtor and a lifelong Canadian, I've witnessed firsthand the unfolding housing crisis not just through headlines, but through the experiences of struggling families, working class citizens, and young Canadians who've all but given up hope of ever owning a home. Let's cut through the political noise and let's get into facts. Since 2015, home prices across Canada have increased by more than 92%. In cities like Vancouver and Toronto, the number exceeds 120%. The average price for a detached home in Vancouver today is over $1.9 million. You would need a household income of over $250,000 or more just to get qualified for the mortgage, and that's not even including a down payment. So meanwhile, our national home ownership among Canadians, it's under 35 years of age, has plummeted to just 36%. That's not a good number. The lowest it's been in decades, actually. More and more of their youth are stuck and living at home with their parents, but not by choice, but because they have no other options. So according to the CMHC, we need to build about 5.8 million homes by 2030. And just to restore affordability, we're not even close. Our current building rates, we fall short by at least 3 million homes. Do you think we're going to catch up at this rate, Polyev? So between 2021 and 2023, Canada's population has increased by over 2.5 million people. But during that same time, we've only completed about 550,000 housing units. That's a shortfall of almost 2 million homes. The average Canadian now needs to spend about 60% of their pre-tax income on housing, and according to the RBC's latest Housing Affordability Index, that's the worst in Canadian history. The average Canadian now needs to spend that's not just with ownership, that's actually now 1 in 3 renters spending over 30% of their income on rent as well. And that's qualifying them as housing cost burdens by CMHC standards. The average on a one-bedroom rental in Canada is now over $2,200 a month, and the average in Vancouver is $2,700 a month. A young person making $20 to $25 an hour full-time cannot live in their own apartment alone. They need a roommate or they got to stay at home. So why is this happening? I'll tell you why. It's because the government after government, and this includes liberals and conservatives, have ignored the basic principles of supply and demand. We've added over 2 million people in the last 2 years alone, and through international immigration, without increasing housing supply proportionally, we've built a system where people are told to get an education, work hard, and they'll still be priced out of the country that their parents built. We've allowed the dream of home ownership to become a luxury reserved for the elites, while everyday Canadians are reduced to renters to live in their own homeland. And between you and me, this needs to end now. The People's Party of Canada, under the leadership of Maxime Bernier, is the only party ready to break this cycle of failure. I've worked in real estate long enough to know that this crisis did not happen by accident. It's a result of failed policies, reckless expansion, and politicians who see GDP numbers instead of families. We've created a system that benefits developers, foreign investors, and political insiders while leaving Canadians behind. And when Canadian families raise concern, they're dismissed as told to work harder, or they're called bigots. Well, I've had enough, and I know that millions of Canadians have as well. Our solution is simple, and it's grounded in reality. Number one, we're going to end the foreign buyer loopholes once and for all. No more foreign ownership of Canadian residential real estate unless you are a citizen. We need to reform zoning regulations and encourage high-density and mixed-use housing in urban centers. We need to remove the red tape that makes it nearly impossible for builders and developers to increase supply and affordability in a quickly fashion. We need to cut federal taxes and fees that inflate our construction costs. And yes, We need to implement a moratorium on mass immigration until our infrastructure, housing, and services catch up to the population we currently have. Because here's the truth. Canada, we are not underpopulated. Our housing is underbuilt. That's the problem. We will fight for a future where homeownership is not a fantasy anymore, but a goal within reach for those willing to work for it. Where our youth can stay, they can build families, and thrive in a country they were born in. When we stop prioritizing short-term political gain and start focusing on long-term national prosperity, we don't need to apologize for putting Canadians first. Canada's our home, and the Canadian dream will endure, not because it's promised, but because we are bold enough to fight for it. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you.